Here is my take for today entitled, In Diplomacy, Presence is Power and Absence is Notice. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is going to be absent at the United Nations General Assembly for the second time. Currently, Nigeria doesn't have ambassadors in its well over 100 diplomatic missions across the world, including here at the United Nations. No permanent representative since 2024. And now, world leaders are gathering as from Tuesday here in New York, the largest gatherings of heads of state and government on the earth. And it happens once every year. But guess what? President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is going to be absent just like he was last year. For context, President Buhari attended every General Assembly meeting of the United Nations for the 8 years he was in office. So this is a serious matter because in diplomacy, presence is power and absence is notice. It was a former UN Secretary of State who said, if you are not at the table in the international system, you are going to be on the menu. Here in New York, leaders from all over the world are converging to define their country's place in the world. The summit officially started September 9, but the general debate for heads of state and government starts from September 23 to the 29th. Last year, Vice President Kashim Shettima stepped up to the plate at the last minute to represent Nigeria, and observers said it performed very well. The president again has tasked his deputy to speak on Nigeria's behalf. There's no official reason given for the president's absence for the second time, but I guess none is required. What some retired and serving diplomats worry about is that Nigeria is missing out on the world's largest multilateral gathering where leaders often deepen relationships and advance their country's interest. Not that the vice president doesn't represent the country, but presidents open doors that vice president cannot. Why does it matter? The General Assembly is more than a week of speeches. It's the world's largest marketplace practically and diplomatically. Behind the cameras, presidents and heads and prime ministers hold private meetings where serious deals are initiated, security partnerships are shaped, and multilateral funding unlocked. For Nigeria, a handshake in New York can accelerate deals that might otherwise take years or decades, if ever. With over 200 million citizens and Nigeria's role as the economic engine of West Africa, we typically as a country command attention here at the UN when the president himself shows up, doors open faster, and requests to see the president also abounds, including from people that really matter. Nigerians have noticed a president who frequently travels internationally. That's President Tinubu. But now he has skipped hunger for 2 years in a row. Is it that the president is prioritizing domestic challenges over attending the world's largest diplomatic forum? Whatever the reason is, in diplomacy, presence is power and absence is noticed. Especially not at this crucial time when Africa is pushing for the reform of the United Nations Security Council, with Nigeria likely to be a beneficiary. There are also issues around debt relief and climate financing, with African nations receiving only a fraction of the funds required, for instance, for climate adaptation issues. And Nigeria, as Africa's largest economy, has a critical voice to these issues. Nigeria's absence, with the president's absence, makes the matters a little bit dicey. So while other world leaders debate conflicts, climate change, and global economic reforms, international security on the global stage, one of Africa's most influential presidents is not in the room for 2 years running. And for Nigerians watching closely, that absence speaks so loudly. The Vice President Shettima will try his best. He will do it very well. But 8 years in the presidency has shown me that the difference between a president and the vice president is not just limited to the spare tire analogy. It is not a difference between sleeping and staying awake. The difference between the president and the vice president is the difference between life and death. That is why presidents ought to take such a gathering like that of the United Nations General Assembly very, very seriously.